Well, hey y'all, welcome to Throttle Power. I just participated in a small scale group build hosted by Sean and Brian. That's their channels, by the way. Anyway, I just got them finished up, so let's get the camera turned around and I'll show you what I did. These are the three kits I started off with for these two builds. And we also ended with that scratch built bed for the wrecker. Getting ready to put the parts in paint. And we're getting some color on this wrecker. There's the toolboxes that I scratch built. And the paints that I'm using. Painted it dark yellow, NATO green, and hall red. Those were the three colors that I used there. Getting ready to mock things up. There's a lot going on in those pictures. Getting that chain painted for the crane, getting the crane mounted in there. It's looking pretty good. I think that's where the crane's going to go. Getting the tires painted. Don't be afraid of plastic tires. Your Tamiya paint, the rubber black, works great on those. Another shot of the tires getting painted. Oh, what's that? Oh, you weren't supposed to see that. Couple three side projects right there. Hey! Whenever I'm using the airbrush, I like to get maximum use out of things, so I pull other stuff out. But anyway, back to this. There's some weathering powders I like using. And here is a close-up of the weathering powders that I used. I used those two colors for mainly the underneath and the sides for dirt. And to set your weathering powders, you need pigment fixer, or pigment powders I was using. There I'm putting the two combined colors underneath. Now it looks funky because I just put the pigment fixer on there, so it'll make it look wet. And about 15 minutes later, voila! It's dry, and that's what you end up with. Love that technique. Also, if you notice there are no exhaust tips on the mufflers. We're getting ready to take care of that. I cut some aluminum tubing to make my exhaust tips, and then we'll get those weathered after the glue sets on those. And I've got the bed glued in. That's the first load. Kicked the wrecker part to the side and loaded it with paints. Getting the tools put on. Grabbed some tools from the parts box, painted those, and attached those. Oh, there's those tips that I finished up on the exhaust. Thought those come out pretty good. I like using the aluminum tubing because it's already cut, so it gives you your nice hole. And there's the winch part, or the crane. And I decided I wanted to add some grease on the fittings, or on the turn parts. So what I did is I got some oil paint. Of course, you put your oils on your cardboard. You let the cardboard soak up the oil, and after about a half an hour to an hour, you can start applying your oil paints. There's my grease, which is simulating the grease coming out from your fittings. Just thought it added a little bit of realism. You can see some jerry cans in there I added. And again, that was the kit I used to get this. Wasn't a wrecker, but we made it a wrecker. Wasn't a dually, but we made it a dually. Of course, if you remember, I robbed the other tire and wheels from the other kit that's coming up. But overall, I think this turned out pretty good. It was a fun kit to build. There you can see the tools I added, a little bit of damage in the front end. I mean, you can't have a perfect wrecker. I don't know, let me know in the comments below what you think of the wrecker. This is my favorite build out of the two. My wife's favorite build is the build coming up. In fact, she said that she would drive this build if I ever got it. There's the kit I started with, and we ended mocking this thing up. Getting ready to put things into paint. And this is the color I painted everything. Yeah, no way. Hey, oh yeah, that's the color I used. There's the parts. Everything got painted that except for the roof and interior. There's the final build on that one. See that thing sticking out the side there? I made a surfboard too. Added the tires and wheels from the parts box. Scratch built a surfboard. Cut that seat in half so it would fold so I could put the surfboard in there. This dude's going surfing, or as my wife would say, she's heading out surfing. There's that surfboard. Fun, fun. There they are put together. Can't call them twins, but there's the pair. The pair says goodbye. Check out Sean's channel. Check out Brian's channel. We'll see you on the next episode on Throttle Power.